Hello. Wanted to go live today to share about the vast list of health ailments. I have comprised a reservoir of resources to share with my communities to just bring awareness to what happens to us, both physically, emotionally, spiritually, socially, with the impacts of alcohol. So in this reservoir of resources is a massive document where I have compiled a huge list of all the different health impacts. And maybe I didn't catch all of them, but really what I'm just doing is, again, going and doing my own research and compiling it. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I do not play one on TV, and I do not pretend to make diagnoses or anything from a medical. I'm literally just pulling information together. I'm documenting that this is a compilation from what I'm finding out on the internet, but basically just want it to all be in one place for people to be able to find and reference. And this document is, I'm going to put a link to it, that it's on my website and all of my resources, because I want people to see it. And in light of the Surgeon General making an announcement where there is a link now to cancer with the use of alcohol, I think that there's just becoming more and more awareness, and people are going to start researching it and looking for it, and I want to make it available. I've already done a lot of the work for you. So I also would like to encourage people to go check out let's see, this is a mouthful. It's the, It's the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, the NIAAA.org. This is a very fascinating site, because when you really start reading and digging into what I believe to be nonsense in the diagnosis of this disease, addiction, I'm going to start releasing a lot of videos, a lot of content, and a lot of my opinion upon what I am finding. And I want to create awareness, just create questions and curiosity around some of the silliness, the nonsense that we have been conditioned and programmed around addiction, how alcohol impacts us, how it affects our bodies, what it's made of, and why it's addicting to nearly every single human that drinks it, and why that is. So I'm going to be calling upon neuroscientists, people who study the brain, who understand the synapses and how our neuroreceptors and neurotransmitters work. And I have questions, and I have a different, unique spin on this than what I'm finding out there. I think that there's the medical community who talk about it amongst themselves, and they're all like, yeah, we know alcohol is bad for people. And then there's, the institutions like AA who will then say, you can't drink at all. There's something wrong with you. You are broken, and you now have to label yourself in this shameful way. And then there's, there's also other in-betweens here of the physicality, what this does to our whole systems, our emotional systems, our spiritual systems, our physical. And I want to point out how those things are interrelated. And in a real life scenario, medical doctors can only say certain things. And so I just want to be a conduit. A couple other areas that I'm really going to be focusing on is the targeting, the marketing and the targeting, and the consumerism towards the feminine. Don't believe me? Go into any liquor or wine store and take note of the labels. They've become much more glamorous. Most of them are now turning into a feminine. I guess I can't say most of them. I would say that you're going to start seeing more and more the pink labels, the flowers, the feminine design. They are calling to us. Rosé all day, mommy wine night, mommy wine club, Fun day, Sunday fun day, mommy's night out. I mean, I lived that. And I wasn't the only one. There were hundreds of us, hundreds of us that I intermingled with over the course of years, that we made every excuse to have a rosé, to have a drink, and I loved it. They loved it. We all were having a great fucking time. It was amazing. And until it wasn't, for me, personally, I wish that I had have woken up to this way sooner, but I didn't. So, that's not what today is about. We'll definitely talk about that another day. I just want to point out that there is a heavy marketing target on the feminine, and I have my theories as to why. One, women hold the purse strings in most of the households. So what I mean by that is purchasing power. And I know this because I worked for many consumer packaged goods products, brands, where that was our most of our meetings. Like, how do we speak to the woman of the household that's doing the online shopping, that's going and doing the shopping? She's doing the one that's, she's the shopper, right? She's going and doing the things the majority of the time, and that is the demographic. And so more and more women are becoming more independent. They have their own discretionary income. They are buying, they are going out with their girlfriends because their men don't really want to go out as much as they do, or they don't want to go to the same places, that's for sure. So it's become this sophisticated social experiment where you can get the fanciest, most fun drinks, and it's sexy, right? They sexify it. They make the marketing and the messaging and the branding, it calls to the woman. They think about the colors they like. They think about the wording, what kind of feeling this is going to evoke. Is this going to be a fun day Sunday, or is this going to be a sexy night out? And I want to look my best, and I want to feel my best. And so the marketing for any product, not just alcohol, they're just playing the game too, is that it is, we are targets. We are targets for our money, ladies. We have the money. We have our own money. I don't have as much money as I used to have, but that's okay. I'm saving a lot of money by not drinking. Holy shit. I also have a lot of resources and information on that as well, because it's not just about the drink. It's about all the extraneous parallel peripheral spends. Let's talk about Ubers and Lyfts, things you lost and need to replace because they're broken or lost. I could go on and on. This wasn't really the topic either, so I'm not pulling at strings, but there is a lot of expenses and costs. I shopped all the time. I was like, I could totally shop for all the things that I want. It was so much fun. Drunk shopping or buzzy shopping or whatever. I don't know. Quick question. Who out there has ordered shit on Amazon and had it show up at your front doorstep and you forgot you actually ordered it? Be honest. Be honest. I don't know. I had that happen a few times. Let's see. Okay. Reservoir of resources. So, journey out of the bottle. What we are about here is to just bring awareness to the myths, the stigmas, the hidden truths or the untruths, and to be able to provide a community where we can consciously congregate and become curious about how this substance is impacting our lives. And first and foremost, when you see this vast list of ailments that this causes, you're going to start to question. You will start to question. A lot of medical people are talking about this. Huberman is one of my favorites that I've watched numerous times, and from a neuroscience and scientific and medical background, it's scary when you really start paying attention to it. And unfortunately, I should say unfortunately, we often don't pay attention to the medical shit that we don't want to pay attention to. That's going to create something that is difficult for us to change in our lives. But if we can go in and get a pill that someone could say, oh, you know what, let's just write you out a pill that should help, and you really don't have to do anything except for take this pill every day. So when somebody is like, oh, you really should stop eating, a gallon of ice cream a day or a week. I don't know. I went through an ice cream phase this summer. Or you have to stop drinking. And we all know what happens if you have to stop drinking. I mean, we all think we know what's going to happen when we stop drinking. We think that we are going to have to then go to the dreaded other side of the world and sit in a meeting every day and chastise ourselves over and over again, and then listen to a bunch of, quite frankly, I think rehashing shitty stories that they say, well, let's not even go into that. I am going to talk a lot about meetings and what happens at meetings. And again, it works for a lot of people, and I'm not saying don't do that. If that's what calls to you and that's what works for you, do it. Do it. I'm just saying it didn't work for me, and these are the reasons why. And I also want to bring awareness to people who are not stopping drinking because they think that this is their only choice. They think this is going to be their only community, they're only their connections, the only people that will understand, and they think that this is the only way, and it's not true. So, and again, and mostly, why I am here and why I am doing this is to bring inspiration, to bring the awareness, the reality that you can have a fucking fun, awesome, sexy, fun, spontaneous, healthy life without this substance, without this one substance. And that's what I needed. I was like, I would like my life to be better without this substance. I would like my life, my health, my emotional health is really what I was like. I wasn't crying. I seemed happy all the time, but I was like, something is not right here. And now I know how badly it was jacking up my human reward system. Like, that was my rock bottom, is like, I am having trouble conjuring up joy. I am having some real challenge in getting myself to a sustainable, happy place. And I am there. I'm there. I mean, I have my days. Like, we live in a world that is filled with challenges, obstacles, things that bring us down that we have to do. I mean, unless you live on an island somewhere that, everything is cool, you've got stuff, right? But I deal with my stuff so much more effectively and consciously, and honestly without nearly the worry and anxiety that I used to have. Like, it was debilitating. And then the fuckery that happens is that life is hard, I need a drink, because that's also what's told to us. Life is hard. You've had a hard day, pour yourself a glass of Chardonnay, it'll all feel better. That is the marketing. It's a very effective marketing, that it's like, you get a reward for being a badass. You get a reward for being a hard-working woman or man, right? I really originally created this program for the feminine, because I know them. This is my story. I'm like, oh, there's probably a lot of other women out there that are like me, who are like me, right? That I can speak to them. I'm speaking their story. I'm speaking my story, and they resonate. But I'm not being discretionary, or I'm not being discriminatory. That's the word. Anyone who wants to get with the Journey Out of the Bottle program is absolutely welcome. I'm not going to, but I do speak a lot about the feminine and how it impacted me, I believe that it's being very specifically targeted to the feminine, and we have our own set of issues. We have our own set of lifestyle things that we navigate from an emotional connection, and this is prevalent. And then And then we often drink together as a tribe. And that is, it's like, oh, then we can commiserate. But I'm going to tell you that you can still commiserate. You can commiserate, but in a much better way. Like, you're commiserating you're commiserating for the betterment of your life, your children's lives, your community's lives. You have motivation, you have drive, you have excitement, you feel sexy again, and you don't have to feel sexy for someone else. Like, how many times, ladies, have you, like, I gotta get my drink on, I'm gonna have sex tonight? I mean, we use this as a lubricant. It is a social lubricant that allows us to be uninhibited, right? Like, that's the whole point of alcohol, right? Is to get uninhibited, to stop giving a fuck, to take the care away. So being inhibited means a little bit more restrained, a little more uptight, a little bit more nervous, a little bit more, right? That's what inhibited means. That's the definition. We believe we either have to be inhibited or completely uninhibited, and there is a middle ground. There's a middle ground. You don't have to be lubricated with alcohol to be uninhibited. But uninhibited to me just means not caring. Like, you don't care. And that's the whole point. But then oftentimes as you start to not care about a lot of things, and you start to care less and less about the things that are important. And one of them, we use alcohol as a way to, to strut our stuff in front of the sex of our choice, right? But you don't have to do that either. So the point that I was trying to make there originally is that, we can, I just want to share. I'm going to share anecdotal stories as we go along of things that I'm doing, events that I'm going to, social activities, the joys in my life. Like, I don't even have to go out anymore to have a joyful life. I am perfectly content and happy and super stoked to have some me time. Like, I take a lot of baths now. I enjoy that so much. I go for so many more walks. I meditate more. I dance by myself. But I still go out and I love it. And there are so many things to do, luckily, where I live. But I'm also going to be providing online happy hours. We're going to call them happier hours. And where we can socialize. Remember the good old COVID Zoom happy hour days? Like, we're going to do that, but we're going to have healthy and intriguing and interesting guests on so you can collaborate with your community. We're going to build businesses together. We're going to build our lives, our new blissful lives together. And we're going to do that as a community of women because we are badass, get her done community. That is what's happening. So, all right, health, ailments. It's a vast list, and I'll have a link for it in my bio. I'll have it on the website. I'll just post it everywhere that I possibly can, and take a look at it and let me know what you think. I love feedback. I want feedback. I want to hear how your journey is progressing, if it's started yet, if you are contemplating it, if you are taking detours. We're all on a journey, and don't let anyone make you feel like your journey is the wrong way. It's all the right way. And there's maybe some paths that you just weren't aware of that we can all help each other find our path. Because we're here as a community. We don't have to do this alone, and we shouldn't, because it's fun to be in a tribe of badass women. Cheers.